In the ever-evolving landscape of human spaceflight, incidents like the one involving China's Shenzhou 20 spacecraft serve as stark reminders of the inherent risks and complexities of operating in low Earth orbit. As of November 2025, reports indicate that the Shenzhou 20 docked at the Tiangong space station may have sustained damage from space debris, leading to a potential leak that has delayed the return of its crew. This situation has drawn widespread attention, not only for its immediate implications, but also for how it echoes similar challenges faced by other space programs worldwide. At the heart of this analysis is the question of reliability in crewed missions, where even minor debris impacts can cascade into major operational hurdles. The China Manned Space Agency, CMSA, has been forthcoming in its communications, emphasizing a life-first, safety-first approach. Official statements on platforms like Weibo detail ongoing assessments, simulations, and drills to ensure the spacecraft's integrity before any return attempt. This transparency is commendable, as it contrasts with more opaque responses in past international incidents. However, the overlap with the newly arrived Shenzhou 21 crew complicates matters. With 2 full crews aboard Tiangong, resource consumption, food, oxygen, and living space had surged, potentially straining the station's systems. Paradoxically, this double crew scenario could be a boon, providing extra expertise for on-site troubleshooting. Engineers and astronauts working in tandem might identify and patch the leak more effectively than remote ground teams alone. Drawing parallels to recent history, the Shenzhou 20 predicament mirrors the Boeing Starliner Crew Flight Test 1, CFT-1, debacle from 2024. In that case, NASA astronauts Butch Wilmore and Suni Williams were stranded on the International Space Station, ISS, for months due to thruster failures and helium leaks in the Starliner capsule. While the causes differ, external debris for Shenzhou versus internal mechanical issues for Starliner, the outcomes are strikingly similar. Extended stays in orbit, heightened resource demands, and intense scrutiny on mission safety protocols. Both incidents underscore a universal truth in space exploration. No matter the nation or technology, human spaceflight is fraught with unpredictability. Space debris, a growing orbital hazard with over 36,000 tracked objects larger than 10 centimeters, poses an existential threat that no single program can mitigate alone. Russia's Soyuz program offers another comparative lens. The recent discovery of heat shield damage on Soyuz MS-759 during post-production checks has forced Roscosmos to reshuffle its fleet, repurposing older vehicles for the upcoming MS-28 mission. This echoes broader reliability concerns in aging spacecraft designs, much like the Shenzhou's vulnerability to debris. Unlike China's situation, Russia's issue was caught on the ground, avoiding an in-orbit crisis, but it highlights supply chain and manufacturing vulnerabilities that plague even veteran space agencies. In the US, private ventures like SpaceX have set new benchmarks with the Dragon spacecraft, which has completed numerous crewed missions to the ISS without similar stranding events. The SpaceX Dragon's robust design, including redundant systems for propulsion and life support, has made it a go-to for NASA, demonstrating how iterative improvements can enhance resilience. Yet, these parallels reveal deeper systemic issues. The global space race, fueled by national ambitions, often prioritizes rapid advancement over collaborative risk-sharing. China's Tiangong, a symbol of independence, operates without direct ties to the ISS partnership, limiting fallback options. If the Shenzhou 20 leak proves irreparable, internal solutions like crew-assisted repairs or expedited cargo resupplies via Tianzhou vehicles become critical. However, prolonged delays could exacerbate psychological strains on the astronauts, who are already enduring extended isolation. Studies from long-duration ISS missions show that such extensions can lead to fatigue, reduced performance, and health risks like bone density loss. In analyzing this incident, it's clear that while China's space program has achieved remarkable feats, such as consistent crew rotations and station assembly, the Shenzhou 20 event exposes gaps in debris mitigation strategies. International standards, like those from the Interagency Space Debris Coordination Committee, IADC, call for better tracking and avoidance, but implementation varies. For instance, SpaceX Dragon missions incorporate advanced collision avoidance maneuvers, leveraging real-time data from networks like the U.S. Space Force's Space Surveillance Network. China could benefit from similar integrations, perhaps through neutral third-party collaborations. Ultimately, the Shenzhou 20 incident is a teachable moment for the industry. It highlights the need for enhanced spacecraft shielding, perhaps using materials like Whipple shields, which have protected ISS modules. As we move toward more crowded orbits with mega-constellations like Starlink, the frequency of such events will likely rise. This part of the analysis sets the stage for exploring viable resolutions where innovative options like the SpaceX Dragon could play a pivotal role if geopolitical barriers are navigated. But first, we must acknowledge that safety innovations, regardless of origin, are key to sustaining human presence in space. As the clock ticks relentlessly in the vacuum of space, the Shenzhou 20 crew, Chen Dong, Chen Zhongrui, and Wang Jie, find themselves in a nail-biting standoff against the unforgiving cosmos. Stranded aboard China's Tiangong space station since April 24, 2025, their planned triumphant return on November 5th has morphed into a suspenseful saga of uncertainty, all triggered by a rogue fragment of space debris piercing their return capsule. With the world watching breathlessly, the question looms larger than ever. What daring measures could bring them home safely? In this high-drama chapter of orbital adversity, internal fixes clash with audacious international contingencies, where one wrong move could spell disaster. Amid the tension, the SpaceX Dragon emerges as a beacon of hope or a geopolitical powder keg, poised to rewrite the rules of space rescue. The drama unfolds with China's initial playbook, a gritty, self-reliant push to salvage the mission from within. Ground teams at the China Manned Space Agency, CMSA, are locked in round-the-clock simulations, dissecting every inch of the Shenzhou 20's compromised hull through telemetry data and onboard inspections. Imagine the astronauts, suited up in the station's confined modules, wielding tools in zero gravity to probe for leaks, their every breath amplifying the stakes. With the Shenzhou 21 crew now sharing the orbital outpost, this double-team effort could accelerate repairs, extra hands patching seals, rerouting systems, and stress-testing thrusters. But the suspense builds. Resources are dwindling fast. Oxygen recyclers hum louder. Food rations stretch thinner. And the psychological toll mounts as days blur into an indefinite limbo. A hurried cargo launch via a Tiangong freighter might resupply them, but what if the debris damage runs deeper, compromising re-entry integrity? One miscalculation, and the capsule could disintegrate in a fiery plunge, turning heroes into tragic headlines. Escalating the thriller, alternative internal strategies introduce heart-pounding risks. Picture this. The damaged Shenzhou 20 undocks and hurtles back to Earth uncrewed. A ghostly test run to gauge its survivability, while the crew hitches a ride on Shenzhou 21. But wait, Shenzhou 21's own team can't be left adrift without an escape pod, violating the ironclad rule of human spaceflight. Always have a lifeboat ready. Launching a replacement like the refurbished Shenzhou 18 sounds feasible, but the timeline? Weeks of frantic assembly, rigorous safety checks, and a flawless uncrewed docking, all while the stranded astronauts endure the isolation of space's silent void. The margin for error is razor thin, but docking failure could strand even more lives, amplifying the crisis into a full-blown international spectacle. Recent airspace closures over China's landing sites hint at an imminent resolution. Perhaps a bold attempt to bring Shenzhou 20 home piloted, but whispers of an uncrewed return add layers of intrigue. Will China pull off this high-wire act solo, or will pride give way to necessity? Enter the plot twist that could shatter barriers, enlisting external aid, with the SpaceX Dragon stealing the spotlight as the premier rescue contender. In this edge-of-your-seat scenario, Elon Musk's brainchild, battle-tested through dozens of ISS missions, stands ready with its sleek, reusable design and proven track record of snatching victory from orbital jaws. Unlike Boeing's beleaguered Starliner, still licking wounds from its 2024 thruster fiasco, or Russia's Soyuz fleet grappling with heat shield defects on MS-759. The SpaceX Dragon boasts redundant Dragon Eye sensors for precise docking, robust heat shields forged in re-entry infernos, and a capacity to ferry crews through chaos. But the real drama? Geopolitics. The U.S. Wolf Amendment bars NASA from Chinese collaborations without congressional nod, turning a technical lifeline into a diplomatic minefield. Would Beijing swallow national pride to request aid from a rival? Could Washington greenlight it amid trade tensions? The SpaceX Dragon, docking at Tiangong via adapters or even a daring rendezvous, would not just evacuate the crew. It would symbolize a seismic shift, bridging divides in humanity's stellar frontier. This rescue roulette exposes the raw nerves of global spaceflight, space debris, that insidious swarm of defunct satellites and rocket shards orbiting at bullet speeds, has turned low Earth orbit into a cosmic demolition derby. The Shenzhou 20 strike isn't isolated. It's a harbinger, echoing the 2009 Iridium Cosmos collision that birthed thousands more threats. As mega constellations like Starlink proliferate, the odds of catastrophe skyrocket. In this pressure cooker, the SpaceX Dragon's versatility, autonomous flight, rapid turnaround, positions it as a potential global guardian. Yet, the uncertainty gnaws. Will China opt for isolation, risking escalation, or embrace collaboration, averting tragedy? The astronaut's fate hangs in the balance, a testament to space's merciless theater, where innovation meets peril head-on. As the stars bear silent witness to humanity's boldest gambles, the Shenzhou 20 crisis hurdles us toward a crossroads that could redefine the heavens forever. In this electrifying finale to orbital turmoil, the ripple effects of China's stranded astronauts cascade across the globe, igniting fierce rivalries, forging unlikely alliances, and exposing the razor-edge fragility of our cosmic ambitions. With space debris lurking like invisible assassins and national egos clashing in the void, the stage is set for a blockbuster showdown. Could the SpaceX Dragon, that sleek phoenix of American ingenuity, not only rescue a rival's crew, but catapult us into a unified future, or unleash a Pandora's box of geopolitical firestorms? Buckle up! The space race just hit warp speed, and the fallout could echo through eternity. Zoom out from Tiangong's besieged modules, and the drama explodes on a planetary scale. Russia's Roscosmos, once the undisputed titan of crewed flights, now stumbles in the shadows of its own Soyuz woes. The MS-759's heat shield debacle, a pyrotechnic bolt misfire or inspection catastrophe, forces a frantic fleet shuffle, delaying missions and eroding confidence. Picture cosmonauts like Sergei Kudz-Sverchkov gazing earthward, their November 27th launch hanging by a thread, while American astronaut Christopher Williams wonders if he'll ever escape gravity's grasp. This isn't mere logistics. It's a ticking bomb for the International Space Station, ISS, where Soyuz has long been the emergency exit. If Russia's reliability crumbles further, the ISS partnership, already strained by geopolitical tempests, could fracture, leaving astronauts marooned in a Cold War redux. Enter the SpaceX Dragon as the wild card savior. Its flawless Crew 8 and Crew 9 rotations have already proven it can shoulder the load. But relying on a private U.S. entity for global lifelines? That's a plot twist that could humble superpowers and elevate Elon Musk to orbital overlord. Meanwhile, across the Pacific, Rocket Lab's neutron rocket delay amps up the suspense like a thriller's third act. Originally slated for a 2025 debut, the reusable marvel now slips to early 2026, as CEO Peter Beck vows no corner-cutting in the face of unproven product pitfalls. But is this caution or a strategic feint? Whispers in space circles suggest Rocket Lab is eyeing a David versus Goliath clash with SpaceX's Starship version 3, also nudged to January 2026. Imagine the spectacle. Neutron's methane-fueled engines roaring against Starship's colossal Raptors, both vying for reusability crowns in a duel that could slash launch costs and flood orbits with satellites. Yet the stakes are apocalyptic. More rockets mean more debris. That swirling maelstrom already claiming Shenzhou 20 as its latest victim. With over 100,000 fragments zipping at 17,500 miles per hour, each launch risks a Kessler Syndrome cascade, a chain reaction collision turning low Earth orbit into an impassable junkyard. The SpaceX Dragon, with its debris-dodging prowess, might navigate this minefield. But for how long? One errant shard, and the dream of Mars colonies evaporates in a debris-fueled inferno. This interstellar intrigue screams for revolution. A global space rescue fleet, with the SpaceX Dragon at the vanguard. Envision it, a constellation of ready-to-deploy capsules, transcending borders to snatch crews from doom's jaws. Post-Starliner, NASA's leaned on Dragon for ISS bailouts. Why not extend that olive branch to Tiangong? But the drama peaks in the politics. U.S. laws like the Wolf Amendment chain NASA's hands, while China's pride balks at foreign aid. A Dragon docking at Tiangong? It'd be diplomatic dynamite, shattering silos and birthing collaborations on debris cleanup, perhaps via joint laser-zapping satellites or AI-driven avoidance nets. Yet, rejection could escalate rivalries, China accelerating its lunar base, Russia pivoting to independent stations, fueling a fragmented space age where accidents multiply unchecked. The Shenzhou 20 crew's fate becomes the litmus test. Will necessity forge unity, or will suspicion doom us to isolated silos? In this heart-pounding epoch, the broader lesson thunders. Space is humanity's shared frontier, not a battleground. As Neutron and Starship prepare for liftoff, and Soyuz scrambles to recover, the SpaceX Dragon symbolizes resilience amid chaos. But without collective action, stricter debris treaties, shared tech like Dragon's docking adapters, the next crisis could be cataclysmic. Do we dare let national vanities eclipse our stellar destiny? The astronaut's safe return isn't just a win, it's a harbinger. As Kevin from Great SpaceX might say, keep looking up, but with eyes wide open to the perils and promises above. The cosmos awaits our choice, harmony or havoc.